I'm taking the opportunity to interview Mark Knight, archaeologist for the Cambridgeshire area, and he's been very much deeply involved in the preservation and the discovery of the Muss Farm boats. Can you tell me, Mark, why do you consider this such an important find?
Okay, so it's a big question, and I'm going to try and give a reasonably big answer of it in a short time, in the sense that I think the implication of the discovery of the Muss Farm boats is not so much the boats in themselves, but it's this idea that it might be the sort of tip of the iceberg, and the possibility that all of the watercourses out there have a similar number of boats in them and a similar number of swords and spears and fish traps and things. And this really is a world that was once heavily populated. And it's like a new indication of a new world. Fine.
I noticed in the graphics that you was showing at the demonstration there that the sections of earth that have been sort of removed, there's quite a long period of time between the discovery of the earliest boat onwards and upwards.
Yes.
And I was surprised that it's hundreds of years on
yes.
some, and the technology, it might sound a funny phrase to use from then,
yep.
didn't seem to have moved on much from the first discovery. Can you
and I think that's a fair comment actually, but then I would say to you that if you pulled out a medieval log boat, it looked pretty much like a Bronze Age log boat. And if you look at the Mesolithic log boats from Scandinavia, they look a bit like ours also. So we could add millennia to that story. I think the common denominator is it's a tree, and they've hollowed it out to make it into a boat. And therefore there isn't really much sort of variation that you can do. And I quite like that idea of the sort of perseverance of a technology and things. So.
That's fine. Thank you very much.
No problem.
I have the opportunity now to talk to Mr. Ian Panter about the preservation of the Muss Farm log boats there, which has been one of the most exciting finds of this century, I should think.
I think it has, yes. I think it's true to say that, yes.
Just a few questions on the actual preservation process. What is the first stage that you went through when you actually, the boats were discovered there? Presumably you was called in.
That's right, yeah. The first stage is to keep them wet, stop them drying out. If they start to dry out, then without any sort of form of treatment, then the timber will just sort of collapse and disintegrate. So they must be kept wet at all times and before they come into conservation.
Okay. And then I should think that the next problem would be to actually transport the boats from where they was discovered to a safer environment.
That's right, yes.
Could you tell us what that involved?
Yeah, so to recover the vessels from the ground, it was sort of very detailed operation, sort of undertaken by the archaeologists on site to sort of carefully sort of tunnel under each vessel and sort of put supports underneath and all sorts of padding and matting to support and stop it sort of drying out. Then each case, which was sort of built out of scaffold planks and poles, was then taken out. The crane was used to lift it out of the ground and then put onto a truck provided by Hanson's, and then sort of gingerly transported, driven to the temporary storage at the kiln site.
Right, and then from the kiln site, you actually built the cold units here, and
right.
They're now in there.
That's right.
And
yes.
the process from now on is to preserve them with.
That's right. Yes. At the moment, we're sort of keeping them at between 3 and 5 degrees centigrade and keeping them wet all the time. And the sort of low temperature stops any sort of biological activity from fungi growing on the wood. So we'll do that for a while whilst we sort of work out what sort of conservation treatment we're going to use, which is likely to be sort of spraying every vessel with polyethylene glycol wax. So we'll sort of install a spraying system within the sort of cold still, and then the vessels will be sprayed with wax probably for the next 2 to 3 years.
Fine, and once they're thoroughly impregnated with this wax, they're safe to actually move to other locations.
Hopefully, yeah. Once we've dried them and sort of stabilised them, then I think they'll still be a little bit weak and vulnerable, but we'll make sort of special supports for them that should mean that they can be transported. Actually, getting them out of their current sort of cradles and frames into the new ones will be quite a fraught process as well.
Just as difficult as the initial.
I think
phase,
so. Yes.
Just one more question is that after say 2 years to 3 years, they will then be able to sort of be travelled round the country.
I think so. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, so
demonstration.
more people can see them. Yes. That's the intention. Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.